Hello, welcome everyone to another episode of Agents in the Trenches, a raw discussion of the real life struggles that agents are facing in today's market. And again, I am Thalia Miranda. I work with Lucy Quinones. She's usually the host, but today I am going to be the host. She is currently in a intense training with Tony Robbins, so she's immersing herself and getting all of the golden nuggets from one of the top trainers in the world. So reach out to her, wish her luck throughout this training. But today I am so excited because I have a special guest, and it's someone who I adore and love to work with. But just before I bring her in, I want to give a little bit of an introduction. She is a former teacher for over 10 years. And she became a loan officer because of the flexibility and fell in love with it. So she's still navigating the uncharted waters and finding herself in the field, but she gets to educate, and that is what she loves to do, and help them purchase their dream homes. So let's bring her in. Welcome, Mara.
Hi.
Hi, Mara. How you
Thank
doing?
you. Doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, thank you for joining us on this Friday. And and we're so happy that you're here with us today. And we're just gonna have a raw discussion. I mean, you're in the field, you're talking to real estate agents on a daily basis.
Yes.
So I wanted to get a little bit of an insight of what you're seeing, because I mean, I'm talking to a lot of new real estate agents. I'm working with them with a couple of some projects and programs that we have put together, and I'm seeing a perspective, right, from an agent to agent, but you're seeing it from mortgage loan officer to agent. So I'm just curious, as far as like, what are you seeing in the struggles that real estate agents are facing?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that interest rates definitely have not made it easier for real estate agents and obviously the buyers, but that hasn't truly been the biggest impact. Um,
Mm,
and I will say that I think honestly, the real estate agents who were at the top are still really finding themselves to be at the top. But that's because they have the right foundation. And
mm,
when the market shifted, they already had so many things in place, like the basics, where I know other agents who started when the market was great.
yeah.
And at that time, they were just killing it, they were killing it. And right now, they're really finding themselves in a pickle, if you will, just because, again, they're missing that foundation.
Right. I mean, especially if, like you're saying, like if you're a new real estate agent and you came in the heat of the market, right, where deals were just basically falling out of the sky, right? It was like real easy to get a deal or get a lead or whatnot. And now it's a little bit of a challenge. So, it's that's a hard, transition, right? Because I mean, you were kind of like, I mean, it was just coming in, it was a flow, and now it just stopped.
Yeah.
Now you have hunt a little bit more, or you have to get out of your office, right, to try to find the people and talk to the people. So have you had any agents kind of mention anything as far as like, okay, this is what I'm having to do, or this is what I'm facing? Like, tell me a little bit about like an experience that you've had.
I've had quite a few agents, and then again, talking about newer agents where when the market was hot, everything was great. But now they're really finding themselves having to look back and think, well, when it was good, I should have really invested in myself a little bit more.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they didn't, because they didn't really know to do that. They didn't invest in their own business. And now they're finding themselves even having to get second jobs, right? Because they can't get any buyers or sellers, and they've been dry for a couple of months and it's been really hard. Um, Honestly, they don't know where to start. And it's because of what you said before. You basically didn't have to pick up the phone, right? People called you, or even if you picked up the phone, it was an easy phone call and kind of like everything stuck and it was just easy. Um, but
Hmm.
now we're really seeing now who has the tough skin, right? Who's going to
Yes.
stick around and who's going to do the hard work to make it happen, because real estate is not easy.
It's not. And I love that you mentioned that, right? Because um, sometimes not every person that comes into the real estate industry has that tough skin, and they need to develop it as they get into the nitty gritty, right? Like into the business and start getting experience, and then they start developing the skin. But because, there's not enough time for it in this market, right? A lot of times what happens is like what you're saying, they end up having to leave and get a job because they don't have time to develop their skills. Because I mean, you need to bring food to the table, right? You need to
Yes.
pay
Yes.
bills, so what do?
Hmm.
You have to get a job essentially. So I've unfortunately have come across that as well with multiple real estate agents that I'm working with. And um, through my open house project, right? It's a very an open project that we have put together, and I think I told you a little bit about it. But if you guys don't know anything about it, it's basically we're collaborating with agents with a joint venture, regardless of the brand or the logo, for you to come and collaborate with us and host our open houses. And so we've had a few agents come, right, and participate in this thing, and then um, as we're going a little bit further into the project, right? There was this one agent that I reached out to the other day, and I asked her, I'm like, hey, so I have a potential open house this weekend. I wanted to see if you were like available. And so what she had told me, she's like, honestly, I had to pick up a second job. I won't be available. So, I'm so sorry about that. And I felt so bad for her because when I first spoke to her, she was definitely like in it, right? She was in it. Um,
Yeah.
but the foundation, right? She didn't have the best foundation, because that's
Yeah.
what it takes, right? You got to have somebody to not, to support you, and have a team to support you. And I think that is like maybe the fundamentals when it comes to building that foundation. What do you think about that? Like, okay, if you were, because you're in the mortgage field, right? Um, and we do a lot of, not the same thing, but we get a client, right? And we have a goal from
We
getting.
work side by side.
Exactly. So, when it comes to like building the foundation, what would you say would be some of the building blocks?
I honestly think for me myself, for example, I love working with people and being in a team. I don't do well when I'm working completely by myself. I kind of get excited when I am in a team environment. It doesn't have to necessarily be in person, but belonging to a team. So
Hmm.
I think, that's where I would start, in finding a good team to be with, to work um, with like-minded, positive um, members within that team. Because that's another thing. You don't want to be around people that are negative all the time. That doesn't make it any better. And it doesn't matter what the market is. People are still buying and selling. You just have to you become the agent that they go to. So what does that entail, right? That's kind of like the hard question. What do I do now? I'm a real estate agent, but now what? How do I get those buyers? How do I get those agents? And a lot of the times it's doing things that we don't like. It's the
Hmm.
phone calls, the reaching out to people. um when you walk around your neighborhood, I mean, it's basically getting. And I've said this about myself, and I say always to realtors that I work with, we're not secret agents. You're not secret agents. I'm not a secret loan officer. I
Hmm.
don't, everybody should know what we do. And
Yeah.
that's really important. But a lot of the times, people like to stick within their comfort zones, and they just kind of get stuck there. So having the right team to push you, and step out of that comfort zones and get all of the basics and all of those things that you need to know and do in order to be successful, that's where you want to be. You don't want to end up being by yourself. You don't want to be with the wrong team, because so many people work in a team, but doesn't mean that they're going to be successful. It has to be the right team. That makes a
Yes.
difference.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. It's environment, I mean, plays a huge role in your success. Like you're saying, if you're in a very negative, you know, environment, or you have negative people, um, you're going to get some of that negativity, right? It's going to weigh down on you. So definitely, and then having someone to hold you accountable, I think that's another thing. Because
Yes.
it's one thing to have be a part of a team, right? And then but there's no one there to help you and hold you accountable, right? You might have a good environment or whatever, but who is there, to push you outside of the comfort zone, like you're saying? Which actually leads me, I don't know if you want to go, I don't know if you want to like touch base on this a little bit, but I have to give you a lot of credit because, when we first, when we first started to, do some things together, create some content, and we did, first time home buyer seminar together. We were creating content. I remember you telling me, you're like, let's record it. Let's record it. And I'm like, well,
Yes.
let's try going live. Let's do a live. And I remember you were kind of like a little bit hesitant on it, and we role played a little bit, but I say that because that's the type of people you kind of want to find, right? And in business, find someone that's going to
Yes.
push you a little bit, regardless of if it's outside of your comfort zone, because we grow outside of our comfort zone, not inside, right? So when
That
I
is
when
so true. That is so true. And I'm so grateful for you, because you've definitely helped me grow even more. And I think we've grown together. And I think that's sort of why I really love the relationship that you and I have. And I treasure it because we've sort of been able to see each other's growth,
Mm,
struggles, right? Each
yeah.
other's struggles as well. And grow. And you are completely right. If you are in your comfort zone, um, you're going to be really comfy there, but you're not going to grow. So even doing lives, which I would have generally declined, but I am so excited that I'm here. So thank you for pushing me.
Yes, I mean, we're both like kind of the same person in a sense, when it comes to, okay, when we're comfy, we comfy, but you do need somebody to
Yeah.
push you. And for me, like even just doing this is like huge. I was so nervous when, Lucy was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to, be on Agents in the Trenches. So I, you got this? And I'm like, sure. Yes. Why not? I've done this, some time, and I've, kind of building up the, the confidence to be able to do it. So I'm super excited. I mean, everything is, about, stepping outside of your comfort zone, growing and nothing. I mean, I'm excited that you're here, and I'm excited we're doing this together and to get your perspective, right? Because I think there's a lot of agents right now that are inside of their comfort zone and want to step outside, but they don't have the push, right? They don't have that person to push
Yes.
them. They don't have the foundation. They don't, I mean,
Hmm.
like Lucy says this a lot. You don't know what you don't know. I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
But if you
that's
had
true.
someone,
But
if you
I
go ahead.
will interrupt you for a second. I apologize, but one thing is also not knowing, but the other thing is the bigger perhaps thing is some people may know but don't have that extra push or somebody that will keep them accountable because of the fact that I've spoken to plenty of agents when in talking to them, and getting to know them and how they work. I basically ask how is it that they get their clients, and I ask about cold calling.
Okay.
And so many of them tell me I don't cold call. And to me,
Wow.
that's huge, right? Like, nobody likes to do it. I
No.
don't like cold calling. You get hanged up on. I mean, you name it, it happens to you,
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you are just one phone call away from your future, from your best future. You're just that fear factor, right? Because all it is, it's fear of rejection.
Yes.
So that fear is going to keep you from living your best life. And at the end of the day, who cares? Like, I'll cold call anybody. And and if you pick up, great. If we have a conversation, great. And that means that we might end up, that we're like-minded. Most like we work well together, and hopefully something will come from that. But it's the same thing for you guys, and reaching out to buyers and sellers. You don't lose anything by trying. You lose everything by not trying. So you just got to
Mm,
put yourself out there, and don't worry so much about what people are going to think about you. I think that really stops so many agents from becoming the best version of themselves. Like, what do people think? Who cares at the end of the day, right?
yeah. Yeah. And the first thing that I thought about when you mentioned that is something that Ed Milet had mentioned, and during one of his podcasts, he says that the path that we're in, right? So the entrepreneur path, the business owner path, it's a path least traveled, right? So it can feel a little lonely. It can feel a little scary, right? I mean, like, not every not everybody goes through this path because it's like a roller coaster. I mean, it really is. It's crazy. But he mentions how it's good to have like a good support system, right? A good environment. Surround yourself with the people that are doing better than you, so you can continue to have like goals, bigger goals to achieve and reach. So I think just that what you're saying is like, yeah, I mean, you have to have that. But I wanted to also talk a little bit about so you mentioned that you spoke to some agents and they don't cold call. So how do they get their leads? What do they do?
So a lot of times they'll buy leads because that sort of it makes them feel, I guess, it removes, but not completely, the cold call. Like, you still have to call. It's just a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a lot of these lead generation companies, they will promise you the world. But at the end of the day, I honestly feel that anybody that's buying leads can do the same exact thing, and maybe spend that money that you're spending on leads on something that is better spent, if you will.
Mm,
Um, I
yeah.
believe that it's just, don't waste your money like that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I was speaking to somebody earlier today, Lucy and I, and he had mentioned he has like, I don't know, thousands of leads that were given to him, and he has only been able to close a very small percentage of that. And I almost wonder. I'm like, okay, if he had this like the support, right? The accountability, the guidance. I mean, he could be closing a lot more than that. But then it makes me think of the agents that don't have anything at all, right? That might be buying leads, but expecting to close on something that maybe they don't really even have the skill set to close, right? So it's just, who knows? I mean, we've talked to lead providers, and they're starting to back away from providing leads to people, and unless you're producing at a higher rate. So I mean, the market's only going to get tougher. So it's important now more than ever
Yes.
to start finding your people, right? Find a mentor.
Yeah.
find a team, right? Find a team, find somebody who, find people that you want to surround yourself with. And if you don't have that, reach out to the people that does, right? So I just want to quickly
Yeah,
talk about,
I agree.
yeah, I want to talk about our mentorship program. We put together a very organic mentorship program where it allows people or agents that from different brands, different brokerages, almost like the open house project, but this is more intense, right? You still have the guidance, and we literally give you the formula to success, right? We give you the formula, and we help you, we guide you, and we lead you, and we basically like just just show you how it's done, how to make money. And it's a 3-month mentorship. So if anyone's interested in getting some more information about that, we have people that have recently signed up, and they're like, wow, this is exactly what I needed. I this our most recent person that signed up for the mentorship program was like, I don't really care even about the price of the mentorship, like, because I know that once I get the knowledge and I get the skill set and I know what to do, I'm gonna make this money tenfold. And I was like, that is the
Oh,
mindset
for
you
sure.
have to have. That is a person that is looking to invest in themselves and in their future, so like that they can
Hmm.
propel even faster. Because why wait, right? Why take the longer road when there's people that are willing to give you the formula? You just obviously have to invest in yourself, but it's willing to give you the formula to get you to where you want to go faster. So, are super excited about this mentorship program because we really do believe that it's going to help a lot of people and a lot of agents, especially in today's market. And, I strongly believe in mentorship. I mean, you need a mentor for sure.
Yes.
I mean, I
Yes,
could,
yes, we all do, and you guys are great at what you do.
thank you.
So I recommend anybody and everybody to reach out.
Thank you. Do you have a mentor or someone that you reach out to when you need help?
Well, my branch manager, to be honest, is great at what he does, always ready and kind of like listens at all times of the day, whether,
That's awesome.
he's on a boat somewhere or in the office. So I kind of have found myself in a very, I think it's a great little niche where I'm at. So it's been great.
That's
But yes, I think everybody needs a mentor, and without one, you're not going to know what to do because even a lot of the leads that you do get, right? Think about not all of them are going to buy right now. Not all of them are going to turn into a buyer or a seller at this point. You have to know what to do with those leads. Was thinking of that when you were talking about the gentleman with a lot of leads. And I was thinking, I wonder what that person is doing with those leads. All right, is the person just calling them once and forget about it? What are you doing with those leads? You have to stay top of mind. So, without having a mentor, you probably would just, depending how many leads you have, just like one phone call, maybe that's it. Who knows what happens to that lead? But every lead, can eventually turn into something, but you just have to make sure you nurture it. And it's all about building relationships. So you have to build relationships with these leads, one way or another. The question is, how is it that you're going to do it? And having a mentor is going to help you figure that out.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I couldn't have said that better myself, honestly. The one thing that Lucy always says is like a lead is a seed, right? You have to water it. You have to water it consistently. And, a
Right.
lot of times the question, like I remember when I first got into the industry, and, you know, Lucy always said the fortune is in the follow up, the fortune is in the follow up. And me, I'm a little bit of an analytical, like I'm an analytical person. So sometimes like I think about things a little bit differently. So when I asked her, I'm like, okay, so what is follow up? I'm like break it down for me. I'm like, break it down for me, because okay, I can call them, hey, how you doing? How's the weather over there? But that's not the positive value, right? It's like, so that's
Right.
literally I mean, being a new agent and coming from, the 9 to 5, that was like my mindset. I was like, okay, I need to break it down. But I was really lucky, and I'm blessed to come into the industry with a mentor and a coach, and she's really helped me along the way. And so, now I'm like looking to give this piece of knowledge to other people. Like, I think that's where I'm the chapter in my life that I'm in, because I'm like, I understand, like I was there not too long ago. I know what the confusion and the fear and the uncertainty that people are feeling as newer agents. And I'm just like, okay, let me help you, right? Like, let me break it down to you. Like, let me
Yes.
give you the steps, because I get it. You might not know what follow-up is, right? Like, we're not calling to find out about the weather. Like, we want to deposit some value. So I think that,
Yes, adding value. We always have to think about that. How are we going to add value to our leads and to our clients, even like post close? Because you still want to keep yourself on top of mind even after that, right? Because it
yeah.
could turn into another sale later on. So, how is it that we add value? And having somebody like yourself that has gone through it, that has been able to if you will, struggle, right? And learn
Yeah.
from somebody who
100%.
it does a great job. Now you're able to give back, which is awesome, because I think it should always be about giving back to the community one way or another.
Yes, yes, definitely. And that's exactly what this platform is about. We created Agents in the Trenches, to shine light and be the voice of, what agents, the struggles that agents are facing in today's changing market. And I'll be the first one to say, I'm like, I'm struggling too. Like, we're all struggling, we're all feeling it in one aspect in our business, or not. Like, I mean, we're feeling the shift. So it's all about like finding, collaborating with people and, sharing each other's knowledge. And if you're willing to, open up your playbook, like, I'm willing to do the same. Like, I can open up my playbook, and Lucy has opened up her playbook to me. So now I'm looking to like, okay, let me share it. So we have put a bunch of different things together that, it's to help agents produce in this crazy market, right? Within the open house project, the mentorship program, and then just recently we launched the cash flow network. So I will definitely leave it there. We have an orientation as well, so I can put the link later in the comments. So you guys, if you're interested to know some more information, I'll put that down below. But for now, I mean, I just wanted to come on here. I appreciate you, Mara, for coming on and sharing your perspective and your golden nuggets. We definitely have to have you back on so we can go a little bit deeper. But thank you. I
Yes,
really appreciate
definitely.
this. Yes, and if
Oh,
you guys,
thank you. It was a pleasure.
awesome. If you guys want to follow Mara, how can we find you? Where are you best? Are you in Facebook, Instagram, TikTok?
Usually probably best Facebook or Instagram. But if anybody has any questions ever when it comes to financing, I'll also drop my phone number now, 305-479-0403. I always pick up my phone. We're in the business of selling. So hopefully you're picking up your phone as well, but you could call me anytime.
Well, I'm not even gonna talk about picking up the phone. I think that's another that's
That's
another
another segment.
episode.
That's another
Yes.
segment.
But yes, definitely, thank you so much, and thanks everybody for watching. If you're watching live, hit hashtag live. If you're watching replay, go ahead and write hashtag replay. This helps with the algorithm, and it really lets us know, okay, what time people are tuning in, so we can go ahead and come on the best times. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm going to go ahead and comment below about our mentorship program and the cash flow network. So if you guys want to know some more information, we'll have that below. And yeah, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.